Hello, 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 everyone. This is once again Carla Michelle with the Strong Women's Network podcast. As you know, strong is all that we can be when we're being strategic, talented, resilient, optimistic, necessary, and global. And if you can be strategic, talented, resilient, optimistic, and necessary, if you remember that, there is no reason why you shouldn't go global. If it's not the world, it at least should be your world. And that's why I have a special guest. But before I say that, I want you to, if you're listening, wherever you're listening to this podcast on, please subscribe. I would love to have you join us every time there is a new episode uploaded, and you will get that notification. All right, my special guest is here on the other end here, Marilena Grittani. I hope I said that right. I have Mari here, and she is the host of the Legal Drug Dealer podcast, and I'm sure we'll find out what that means. As well as, this woman has done some great things. She used to be full-time employed in a hospital doing things her way. No, not really. No, that's because now she gets to do things her way, and she has her own world happening. And I can't wait to hear more. I can't wait to you hear more about it as well. Hi, Mari, how are you?
Hi, Carla. I'm really good. Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you have the time to just have this little time with us and let us know a little bit more about what you do. I know you have an event coming up, so I can't wait to get started. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you said, I am the host of the Legal Drug Dealer podcast, which means that I am the legal drug dealer. And it is true because I am a pharmacist. Yes. And I am legal in 5 states in the US. So I am legal. I deal drugs legally. That is my profession. And I've been a pharmacist for over 26 years now. And my experience has been between retail, which is where you go to pick up your medications once the doctor calls it in or you bring a prescription to, and the backside of a hospital where you, as a pharmacist, get all the medications ready for the patients that are in the hospital in the ER, as well as supporting the doctors and patients with their problems or the possible complications with their medications within the hospital. So as you said, I was working in a hospital before this full time, and it was a pretty safe and let's say profitable job. And because I have 26 years of experience, I was doing really good. That wasn't a problem. So it was quite a change to go from there to what I'm doing right now. But I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the change.
Well, that change. So I want to hear about what you're doing right now or tell our listeners, but change, how did that affect you?
Well, it was horrible.
Tell the truth.
It was hard. It was hard. Well, I can't make up stuff. I am very honest and upfront. So it was really hard. It was really hard in so many aspects that every time that I think about it and I analyze it now that I'm cold, that I'm not submerged in the chaos that brought to my life, I am like, wow, girl, you did good. So basically what happened is that I had 3 tumors in my uterus, and they were so painful that I didn't know that I had that. I just had pain, and I went to the doctor, and they said we need to get this out because we don't know what it is. So that was very stressful. On top of that, I had a problem in my hip that I didn't know that I had because I thought it was the same pain from the tumors. So I went from being full throat menopausaic to having a hysterectomy, which was a second menopause. So lucky me, I got 2.
Wow.
Yeah, within 4 years, I got 2 menopauses. So yay, I'm just that lucky. And then after that, I had a pain physically in my butt because it was in the middle of my butt in my left hip that was not letting me perform, not even walk, sit, lay down, nothing. It was just affecting my personal life physically terribly. All that was happening at the same time that I left my job because my significant other, that I love to death and is the most handsome guy in the whole world, decided to take another job in another city. So I was by myself, I was staying by myself, and that was not feasible for me at that job that I was telling you about that I had in that hospital. So I had to make a decision. Number one, I needed to be close to him because I miss him very much. And that was not a life that I wanted to live, each one of us in different states. One. And number two, I needed to take care of my health because I wasn't doing that well. I needed solutions and I didn't know what to do. So that I thought it was going to be better with him. So I did make that decision, which meant that I moved to another state, that I didn't have a job and I just came to be a housewife after having a salary of 150,000 plus a year. So that was quite hard. That was difficult. It was, you have your savings and your stuff and you work with that. And there is a point that it's not about money. It's about, hold on, a month ago, I was saving patients' lives. 2 months ago, I had a baby that got poisoned by their parents without wanting to do it by ibuprofen. And I needed to dose the medication that we need to use for that baby to get better. And today I'm walking my dogs and that's all what I'm doing. I'm cooking dinner. That was hard.
Yeah.
That was very tough. And I worked in healthcare, so I was taking care of people's life. And I went from having easy 50, 60 patients in my schedule a day to have nobody. That was very tough.
Well, that is a true definition of change.
Yes, absolutely. It was a change. It wasn't, I didn't think it was going to be that uh, drastic because I thought that I could come here to this new state and find a job. But because of my age and because of the fact that the market for our profession is shrinking, I couldn't find the job that I needed or wanted. So I needed to, pivot from what I was doing. And at the beginning, I thought I just need to chill. I just need to take it easy. Something is going to show because I believe that God and the universe is going to bring me what I need to do. I will have a sign that is going to say, hey, this is where you need to go. This is what you need to do.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that I was very clear in my head and my heart that was going to happen. But at the same time, I had that other part of me that is like, what are you doing, girl? You need to do something. This is not your life. This is not what you need to do. So dealing with those two, each one of them in one of my shoulders was a tough situation. Plus the hormonal changes that I was going through, the pain that I was going through. So it was really, really hard. But I decided that I needed to do something because I wasn't happy professionally speaking, and I refuse to be a housewife. Not that I disrespect anybody by saying that. It's just that that's not what I do. That's not me. That's not what I want to do because I'm not good at it. I suck at it. So why would I do that? You
You
know?
got, yes,
Yeah,
you got to know yourself.
exactly. And I know my skills and stuff that I am not good at. And that's one of the things that I'm not good at. Plus, I never had kids, so I don't have the excuse that others have, like, oh, the kids at home and whatever. I didn't have that either. So it was really hard. But then there was something that was, moving in my head that I need to support other pharmacists that were in the same situation that I was because I realized that I was not alone. And when you feel alone, that that you don't think that anybody else is going through what you're going through, it's really, really hard. You blame yourself for your decisions, even though they were the best ones that when you made the decision as an option. Now you think it was wrong and you doubt yourself, and then you have that stupid imposter syndrome in looking at you in your eyes like you're such a, why would you make this a stupid mistake? You remember how much money you used to make, and all those stuff that came to me at once that I was very confused. So I was kind of pulled in two different directions by each arm, by the imposter syndrome and by what I wanted to do. So something happened, and I went to this retreat that was awesome, by the way. And I went there to support you mainly because you organized it, and because I knew that I was going to gain something from what you give to people, because I've heard your podcast, because I listen to your podcast, because you've been on mine, and I know what you give. And we met each other, professionally speaking, also in other areas. So I
Yes.
knew that I was going to get something from there, but I did not expect what I truly got, which was a humongous jump and a realization of stuff that was stopping me that I didn't even know.
Mm.
So,
Yes. And what she's talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is she attended Bare and Beautiful, oh gosh, in October
yes,
2019.
yes,
So, yes. So, just a little backstory there.
yeah. Mine that I quit my job in June of that year, and then in
Wow.
October, I had all that time to kind of. Did you break it? Please, lady, don't do that to me. So
No, you're fine.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that I had a plan, because I didn't. And that was creating a lot of instability in my head. And that was not how my life has been, because when I was little, I knew I had to go to high school and then to go to pharmacy school. That was my goal, and I did it. And then I
Mm,
won a master's degree, and I did it. And then I wanted to move here, and I wanted to get married. I mean, everything was planned and organized. And then all of a sudden that went to, it disappeared. I didn't have a path. I didn't have a goal that I was aiming to. But then
wow.
on that event, I I got all the blur that was blinding me from what I wanted to see.
Hmm.
Even though I wanted to see it, I couldn't, because I was blinding myself. So after a few sessions that we had, and after, I went there thinking, these people are going to talk. I'm going to just listen, whatever. This is not for me, because I got everything figured out. I don't need any of this. This is just whatever. This is for people that are weak. I'm very strong. This is
Yes.
not with all the letters that strong means, right?
Yes, yes.
And then I found myself like, what? And I started talking, and I'm like, why am I talking? I'm not supposed to be talking here. I'm supposed to be just filling a little space here. And no, I felt comfortable. I felt allowed to let go, and I felt safe. And I did put my guard. I let my guard down, and
Mm,
that guard was not only protecting me from any harm, but it was also preventing me from moving forward. I didn't
mm,
realize that until I did with you and Marlene. So that was a really, really definite moment for me. And I realized so many things that day. And I remember talking with you, and you said, well, what is it that you want to do? And I told you, I just want to help people. I want to help my colleagues. And that didn't work the way that I wanted to work. So I'm like, what do I do? And then it came to me that I just needed to help my patients. And because that's what I've done for 20 plus years, why would
yeah.
I stop?
Mm,
So I didn't know how to do it, because I needed a job. But then I figured out that a job is not necessary to do what I need to do, much less on these days. And now after the virus era,
mm.
even
That's a
less.
good point. That's a good
Mhm.
point. Yeah.
So I just decided that with my computer and the earphones that I had, I could just have a podcast. And because you taught me that as well, you say, "You see, girl, you can do it, no problem." I'm like, "No, that's a huge monster that I don't know how to attack." And you said, "It's
Yeah.
not a monster; it's a puppy dog. Go for it and do it."
Yeah.
And I did. And now I have listeners in places that I didn't even know that
Mm,
they could listen to me, like, I don't know, Morocco, Malaysia, places that I'm like, wait, what?
yes.
Do I have people listening to what I have to say, or what I put together for them in this many places? So it was very humbling, and at the same time, it was like, see, you are doing what you needed to do for your
Hmm.
patients. That's what your goal was. So I decided that I was going to make this work, and I have full support from Matt, that is my partner, and he said, I support you. You look happy doing it. I know you're doing really good. He's one of my first fans. He's one of the ones that listens to my first he's one of the first listeners of my podcast when it publishes. So this opened up to a lot more. I realized that with that platform that I created, I could help other people. not only the listeners, but the speakers. I could bring people over that needed a little shout out, that needed a platform to show what they could do for others. And that, because those others were looking for people like them, but they didn't know how to find them. And
Mhm.
that's how I started, inviting people that were like me, starting up small business, nothing huge, not a, a big name, but people that were working hard, that wanted to get away, that wanted to go forward, that were female, 99% of them, and and we just wanted to work together. So that's what I've been doing since then, and it's working for me. I have a motivation. I think I found my path. I want to work on this, and I know that the knowledge that I have is needed, and so many people because for me it's second nature,
Mm.
but for other
Yeah.
people it's not. So that's where I'm like, okay, you guys tell me what you need me to teach you, and I will, because I have it here. And if not, I'll find out somebody that is an expert to teach us, and then we will all learn. So that transition, that pivot took a few months, but you know it was what I needed to go through. Sometimes you need to through a cleanse, or what we pharmacy or medical people talk, a placebo wash. That is, let's just clean it up, forget about what it used to be, and focus on what you want to do.
And that is
Because
key. That
hmm
if I can just interject right there, that
of
is
course,
key. Focus on what you want to do. Focus
which I
on that.
didn't know.
Yeah. Well, and, I think about it because if we look back, you've been about a year. Has it
hmm
been a year or over a year
Yeah, a
now?
year
About a
already.
year. And within that year, you had changed that. I mean, your physical, emotional,
hmm
social changes
hmm
that usually can take people out for at least a few years before they can get back on their feet. But within 4, 5, 6 months, you thank God, we had the opportunity to professionally meet, and you drove all the way from your state to
hmm
California, which I
yes.
didn't know, to attend. However, that was you not knowing what was waiting for you on the other side
Mm-mm.
of getting out of a rut you didn't know you were in.
No.
Because you said you were blind, and I wanted to go back to that. You
Yes.
said you were blind. Now, you knew you were blind, but you didn't know what or where or how to do anything. But you didn't isolate yourself.
Well, I did. I did for a
Okay.
while, because well, I don't know if people know this, but we pharmacists, we're big nerds. And normally the way that the places that they put us to work doesn't have a window, because people can break in and steal drugs. So we're always in the dungeon downstairs, in the
Mm-hmm.
in a basement. So, and we are very nerdy. So we are very much into our comfortable area. But then when you get to this position that you need to do something, because if not, nothing is going to change.
Yeah.
You need to do something, and I am one of those people that tell others, hey, if you want a different result, you cannot continue doing the same thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, it's called
And
crazy.
and then I'm like, have you listened to what you tell others? I don't know, I'm just wondering. And I'm like, well, actually I have not. But yet I knew something needed to change, but I didn't know what, I didn't know where, I didn't know how. And actually it was kind of a pair of glasses that blur me, like when you have a different prescription that is not yours, when you used to use your grandma's when you were little, that you couldn't see. That's what I had, but I never thought it was that. So I just needed to simply say, I'm done with this. I just want to see what is beyond my
Mm,
nose, that is
yeah.
right there, but I
Yeah.
cannot see it. And that event that made me think about me, because I was always thinking about others and what others expected from me, and what pharmacists do. We always take a job, or we even work in a hospital in retail, and they pay my salary, and that's what I use for my money. It's not that what I wanted to do is what the society created for me. And these days, even though I'm close to 50 years of age, which is middle age, right?
Hmm.
And I'm supposed to be more conservative. I'm like, hold on, I could be conservative, but the future of life of people is not conservative anymore. It
Hmm.
will be stupid if I want to stay in the past.
Yeah.
So I needed to change something. And that's when I did. Thanks to all what happened that weekend that was magical.
That's
I
awesome.
was able to see.
I want to you there's a remember you shared about you opened the you unlocked the door but you
Yeah,
didn't open.
being open.
Could you share, because I'm sure, I mean, think about and I'm going to tie it in this way because I know it dealt with something else, but those who are we're in a very pivotal time right now where people have
Yeah.
to figure out what are they going to do next.
Hmm.
Their job of 26 years like yours may be gone.
Hmm.
Businesses and organizations are either downsizing or things are closing up. They're making so many adjustments, and it's time for someone to think outside of the box, to take the blinders off. But you said a great phrase that just stuck with me. Do you remember that?
I do. I don't think I will ever be able to forget that day.
Can you
That
share it with us?
and the funny part or the interesting part is that I didn't realize that until I said it, because
Mm,
I think that everybody's brain, medically speaking, works in a different way that your mind works, in terms of your brain already figured out, but your mind have not comprehended yet. And then you don't know what it is. And because we're humans and we want to control everything, if you don't understand, then you can't do it. And then you block it. And
mm,
that's what happened to me. I
mhm.
believe. So we had this conversation specifically, you and me.
Yeah, it was our one-on-one.
It was a one-on-one, sitting in a beautiful patio in a perfect weather, and the sun was shining and the birds were chirping. It was so perfect. And then you said, so what is it that is your takeaway from this? And I said, well, I need to admit that I thought I was an open person,
Mm,
but I was not. And the way that I saw it is that because I unlocked the door, I thought that that meant to be open. And when I said I unlocked the door, I meant, yeah, if you want to come over, I'm going to think about it and maybe I'll let you, right? But I thought that was the concept of being open. And then I told you that day that was not being open. I needed to actually open the door so
mm,
things could flow between, from inside to the outside and the
yeah.
outside to the inside. I didn't allow that to happen because
Mhm,
my door was closed. So I was not open. And I
mm.
bragged about being open all my life, and I wasn't.
And you bragged because you unlocked the door. And there's
Yes,
so many of us who feel like, yeah, I'm open because I unlocked the door. But you said, no, I needed to open it,
yes,
not just unlock it. And
yeah.
that's a key a lot of us are missing is, yeah, we walk around like you, me, anybody else who feels they're open because we've unlocked it. But have we really opened the door where it's a free flow
Yes.
in and out? Yeah.
Hmm.
So, wow.
And I remember talking to Marlene, that was another coach there, and she asked me, "Why don't you open the door?"
Mm.
And I didn't know the answer. And I said, "Because something could come in." And she said, "What?" And I said, "How about a tsunami?"
Wow.
And drags everything out. I mean, my vision, the way that I visualized it was that unfortunate tsunami that occurred in Japan, that the water came in and it just wiped everything out. How about
Mm.
if that happened? And then she looked at me and she said, "How about if that doesn't happen?"
Whoa. Wow.
So that was a slap in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you really missing out because something as random and as, drastic could happen, missing out all the stuff that probably will happen if you just let at least the window open, not the door, but crack a window open, something, try.
Yes.
I mean, get your toe in the water and then see, and then put your whole foot and then go on. Maybe you will jump right in. However it works for you, just give it a try. And it's not safe to be behind a door and
Mm.
be locked in unless you're during coronavirus. Please stay in your houses, because that's not what I'm trying to say. What I was trying to
But
say is that
emotionally and
yes,
mentally,
because
yeah.
I thought that way I would protect myself,
Yes. That
but
isn't, go
that
ahead.
prevent me from learning other stuff or
Mm.
experiencing other stuff,
Hmm.
and that was a disservice to myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were willing to continue. You were, I want to say it, you were comfortable in what you have done in the past 26 years,
Hmm.
but something new, something different, something you couldn't control,
Hmm.
it was safer in your mind or your brain to keep the door, it was unlocked, but
Hmm.
keep the door closed, and then
Yeah.
you can control what goes in and out if you wanted to open it or not, if you ever
Hmm.
opened it. So
Hmm.
I mean, that's really key for our listeners to see that, just how open are you to the next phase of your life or to
Hmm.
the opportunities that are waiting to come in. So that's an awesome, 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 awesome story. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that awakening that took place for you.
Yeah, it was a huge change. But I want to tie this to something that you and me discussed once on one of my podcast episode,
Sure.
that is fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what it was is that I was afraid that something as drastic as a tsunami, which is a visual way to put it, into
Mm,
words, could come and hurt me. And that have happened. You have family issues, and that is pain that
mm,
you carry with you, and you're afraid of that happening again. And I came from a divorce, which was horrible. It was really messy, so I was afraid of that as well, and
mm.
other stuff. And as you can tell, maybe you can't, because it's very subtle, but I have a little accent, so that means that I didn't grow up here. So coming from another country that has a different culture, that has different people, that everything is so drastically different, made me create a cocoon that I was comfortable on, and I didn't want to open the door because I was scared, but I didn't know that that's what I was doing.
Mhm.
So the day that I realized that, then I said I need to open it. Whatever comes, I mean, I can deal with it, because I am a strong person. I am a
Yes.
strong with every single letter of it. I can do it. But
Mhm,
I didn't know I wasn't allowing myself to be
mm,
exposed to that until
mm.
I did. And that's what people say, you don't know what you don't know until you know it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So how did it feel? You opened the door, you left the event obviously and had to
Yes.
go back
Hmm.
and face the world.
Hmm.
And you started your podcast, which you shared. I'm sure your relationship at home changed, and then you started some other stuff. So let's
Yes.
talk about just how the momentum just kept going.
Yeah. Actually, in that event, my best friend came with me the next day. She wasn't there the first day, she was there for the second day. And
Hmm.
there is nobody besides my husband that knows me or my partner, that knows me as much as she does.
Hmm.
And before we left, because she lives in California and I live in Arizona, before I left and we went different ways, she said, I never seen something that clear in your mind as I can see in your eyes right now. This is going to
Wow.
be life changing. And the same thing happened to her in other aspects, of course,
Mm.
but it was that good. The event was that good. So I had 4 hours to drive with not that
Mm.
much signal, because it was through the Death Valley, right?
Yes. Drop off
So,
some bones while you were
oh
going
yeah,
through.
definitely. So, I had those 4 hours, Carla Michelle, were perfect for me to decompress and to part compartmentalize. Is that the word? Yeah,
Decompartmentalize.
just to put different things in different silos, and
Oh,
understand the big
compartmentalize.
picture.
Okay. Yes.
Compartmentalize. There you
Yeah.
go. To understand and to have a better visual of it. When I got home, it was Sunday, I remember, afternoon, and I came home, and Matt is like, "What happened? Because this is not the same you that left."
Mm, mm.
And I said, "This was big. This was interesting." And I said, "I just need to know if you would help me be protected if a tsunami comes through the door."
I love it.
And he was like, what? We're in Arizona. There is not tsunamis here. I'm like, this is what I meant. And
Mm.
he said, of course, we're going to do this together.
Yeah,
And he's a
good.
big guy, right? So I
Yeah,
knew he was going to protect me physically, I mean, visually speaking.
yes.
So that's what we did. And yeah, I figured out that a podcast was the way. And then I met so many people. And once you start doing what you were meant to do or what you like to do, the universe, as the
Mm.
alchemist from Paulo Coelho, that book that I
Hmm.
love, said,
Love it too.
the universe is going to align for things to happen. But you need to make that change in your head for things to start showing or for you to be able to see it. Because if you don't allow it, you will not see it. Like the glasses that I had, the blur that I had in front of me, that didn't let me see what was a foot away from me, but I couldn't see it. I just couldn't. So I started thinking about the podcast and I started talking about what I wanted to talk. And it's all about pharmacists and drugs. And this is what I know. And this is what I'm
Mm.
going to talk about. And then I thought, people are bored. I don't have anything else to say. Let's see, let's invite somebody. And I found somebody, and that somebody told me about somebody else. And those somebody else's gave me more somebody else's. And there's a point that I had 30 people waiting for me to interview them in my podcast, all of them people with 10 plus years of experience in different areas of the medical field that were wanting to inform and educate the community and also wanted to help them if they could,
Mm.
including you. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, this is working. And I didn't think anybody wanted to come talk to me. Number one, I didn't think anybody was going to listen to what we have to say. And look at that, I have people in Malaysia listening to us.
Awesome.
And that, it everything, it was like a little ball of snow that started going downhill and it became something big, but it's controlled and it's organized and it's
Mm.
looking beautiful to the point that
Yeah.
now we are participating in what is a conference. It's like a summit, that's what I call it, that
Yes.
we're teaching people, or we're making people aware of the fact that they need to take control of their own health and make their own decisions, because
Mm.
it's not what the doctor said. And as somebody that is super smart and I admired so much, said, well, if the doctor doesn't work for you, you fire them, right?
Yes.
And so many things that we need to understand. And I thought that I was going to count with 4 or 5 people to help me, and I have 27 speakers coming to this
Wow.
event in so many different areas. So whenever you decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to open myself to the universe for stuff to come in, you get 26 speakers that are otherwise alone and lost, that they don't have a place for them to deliver
Mm.
what they need to deliver. So if you get that platform for them, they're going to come. Or if I didn't create this platform, then they wouldn't have a place to do it. But we
Excellent.
had to match. I had to
Excellent.
open my door and they had to open their doors. So now we are together in this thing. They're coming into my place and I'm coming into their places. It's perfect. It's
Yes.
flowing. It's
You would
working.
you would call that, and when we think about strong, the N is necessary.
Yeah.
So it was necessary that you stepped into this realm of your life and allowed everything just to align, because people needed, it was
Hmm.
necessary for you to do what you needed to do so people could do what their necessary
Yes.
call is. And so perfect. Understood. Just great. Keep on going. Keep going.
And then the other thing is that it was necessary for those that listened to us,
Yeah.
because they didn't know. I had a bunch of people saying, one of the people that came over to my podcast is a hormonal replacement expert, somebody that works with menopause and the fluctuation of our hormones. And people are saying, no, because hormones are going to cause cancer, and I'm miserable with these symptoms, but I don't want to get cancer, and they're in this situation. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about this, and let's say exactly what it is, because it's not what you heard that somebody said. It's what an expert tells you to do, and then you work with and you make your own decisions. Do you want to keep going naturally and have all the symptoms, or do you want to give this a try that could help you, or do you want just to go with the traditional way that physicians do? So it's your choice, but at
Hmm.
least you have an idea of what options you have,
Mm.
which they didn't have before, because they were, as I was, they were open with the door closed.
Wow.
Unlocked
Yeah.
but closed. So
Yeah.
then that was needed for them to get that information for them to make their own decisions. So the fact that I'm giving people an opportunity for them to make a decision based on knowledge from experts that have been, working in this different areas for 10, 15, 20 years, it makes me feel comfortable and very happy that I'm helping others, which is the mission that I always had, because that's what we healthcare people do. I went to school for 6 horrible years studying all these drugs that I studied to help everybody, to help people, because that was my intention. And now I was at home doing nothing. I'm like, no, 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 I need to help people. It doesn't mean that because I don't work in a pharmacy or I don't work in a hospital, I cannot be a pharmacist.
Mm.
I needed to break the mold of saying, this is not just the only choices that I have.
Yeah.
And there is no other summits like ours that is from experts to patients to tell them these are the options that you have. Go do whatever you need to do, whether you are in Malaysia or you are here in the US. But those are options for you. And now because
Awesome.
of Zoom, you can talk to anybody anywhere.
Yes.
So why limiting ourselves? There's no point. And Miss Oprah Winfrey, I don't know if you heard about her. She's a lady that is a little bit, she's very smart, and
Yeah.
I admire her tremendously. She have said, whenever you find a wall that you hit your forehead against, you should be happy and not upset that you hit a wall, because that means that now you know that that's not your direction.
Mm.
So you need to turn like the rumba, like that equipment that you put in the floor for
Yes.
it to right, to clean
Vacuum.
your
I
carpet,
love that
vacuum.
thing. Yes. Mine's, yes.
I do too. I have two yellow labs and they shed a lot of hair, so I need that thing working all day long. But what I'm trying to say is that the rumba goes and it hits a wall, and what it does, goes back a little bit, turns and tries
Recalculates.
again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's still not enough. So it goes back and turns and goes one more time until as many times as needed until
Yes.
it has a clear path.
So true.
So why if an equipment that is so, basic, it's capable to do that and we human beings can't?
Mm.
I'm
And
sorry. No, that is unacceptable. No, we need to. We need to
yes.
have the drive
Yeah.
and the want, but we can do the same.
Yes.
It
This is
doesn't
great.
matter what you work on. You just need to want to do it. And then find the examples that you need to follow, like a rumba,
Yeah.
and then think, I'm going to be like a rumba. Yep, I'm going to do that because she is smart and she's an equipment. She needs to be charged
Yes.
every 6 hours. I
She
don't.
does.
Yep. So if she can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah. So true. So you have this summit and it's going to
Yes.
be virtual,
Yes.
and I know you've been planning and you've worked very I don't want to say hard, but very focused, and probably hard, but you're just very focused on having this event. And if you later on, if you before we close, share your dates and how they get in touch with you.
Mhm.
But I know you ran into some interesting control testers. We'll call it
Yeah.
a control test.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about that? Because I know sometimes we can have events, our life can, we're on this new track and it's going well, and boom, 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 things are growing. You're all over the continent and, things are happening, but there's still, we have to be aware of things that may try to, you bump into, like the rumba, and you have to recalculate your
Hmm.
maneuvers. So tell us, share any experiences that you want to share during this time of planning.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I didn't think I was going to get that many people. So my plan, I mean, participating as speakers. So my plan was to do most of the speaking myself because I didn't think anybody was going to trust me and come over and talk. But
Mm.
then I got this many people, and then the commitment was even bigger because I had all these physicians, uh, physical therapists, nutritionists, therapists that were trusting me because they didn't have a platform that I was creating and they wanted to use it because they couldn't do it. And then I thought I had everything put together. I knew I did my part. I interviewed everybody. Everything was good. And then the date come in 2 weeks close to me, and I get my editor that says, I'm not going to be able to do all your videos. I'm like, hold on,
Mm.
the event starts in 2 weeks. What are you talking about? Well, I can't do it. So here's your stuff. You need to find somebody else.
Whoa.
25 different videos of an hour each that needed to be edited.
Wow. Wow.
And then my computer decided to die, which was the place where everything was on, all the videos, everything that I did and organized for the event. So the university was talking to me and telling me, you need to stop. And I talked to somebody that I love and I said, I need you to help me. I need you to help me because I am in a crossroad here and I don't know what to do. I'm feeling that I need to work 27 hours a day to get this
Mm.
done in 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that even with that I will be able to finish it. But I need to be okay with postponing it. I don't want to disappoint anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then we discussed that, Carla Michelle, you and me, and you said, what is it that you need to do? And you helped me see it, and I did go through it. And nobody was upset with me. Nobody was disappointed.
Good.
Actually, they said, we didn't know how you were going to do it in that short amount of time, but because we know you're badass, we said, well, she's going to do it.
We're
So
gonna.
that's fine.
Yes.
So that's fine. But
Yeah.
what I didn't realize, because I thought I had my timing um, you know, uh, put together, figured out. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is that I came from a structure, which is what happens to everybody that have worked for big companies before and then they work for themselves. So I used to work in a pharmacy department when I was a director of pharmacy or when I was in charge of the I don't know, whatever area of the pharmacy you want to think about, that I was working on my area. The pharmacy part was my responsibility. This is my job. I just need to deliver it on time. And I did. I got all my interviews ready. I got everything that I needed to do, and I gave it to the ones that needed to do their part. But these people were not as committed or as responsible because they were not part of a one place, which is
Mm.
a hospital or a company, an institution that works towards the same goal. These were freelancers
Mm.
and they didn't care.
Wow.
And I was like, hold on, why is this failing if I did my part? It wasn't just me. I needed to change my mindset of this is not just doing my part. I need to do my part and oversee everything else, even stuff that I don't know how to do it or what to do, but I need to figure it out
Mm.
because that's what the new job is.
Yeah.
I'm not in that old position that I had before, that I knew everything about, and it was my comfort place.
Mm.
It was my zone of comfort. I could do it, and
Mm-hmm.
my brain couldn't understand how come if I did my part, this is not working. I
Yeah.
did it way earlier than I did to do it. Hello, and
Yep.
it was a wall that hit me in my face. I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? How didn't I see that? Because I went to the old way to work that I had before and I didn't
Mm.
evolve to the
Mm.
new one
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Yeah.
And now I have 5 videographers editing my videos. 5.
Not
I'm
just
not gonna
one.
no 5. And same thing with the designers. I have 4 designers, and each one of them is gonna be stay with me because if one freelancer goes away, I have 3 still or 4 more because I cannot let my business go down
Mm.
because of
That's
a third
right.
person
Okay. Right.
and stuff that I can't do. But
Mm-hmm.
you need to be what is it to think about what could go wrong
Yeah.
and have a plan B just in
Yeah.
case.
Well, and that's just being very strategic,
Yes.
and I thought it was very interesting because we as business owners and we're learning to, well, we should, especially small
Mhm.
businesses, well, even any, I don't care what position, you need to learn how to delegate. And one
Yes.
reason why we don't delegate is because we don't want to be disappointed, so we
Hmm.
just end up doing everything ourselves and then we're burnt out.
Hmm.
And I know, I can only guess that with your situation, this was your opportunity to just trust and not be in control of everything. And then when you let it go, it blows up. And then
Hmm.
I'm sure you ask yourself the question, see, that's why I just do it myself.
I sure did.
But look what you did. You went back and you just delegated more. you extended your reach, and you just, from one to, what, total 8 people,
Yeah.
8 extra people now that are helping you, to where you're
Yeah.
okay. I'm not going to go back and try to run everything, because that's
Mm.
not the plan. I'm
No.
going to be aware of what I'm doing, but I have delegated opportunities to these freelancers who are going to produce what I need to produce. And then I have a backup if something goes wrong.
Hmm.
So kudos to you for running that.
But I'm not gonna lie. My first
Don't lie.
reaction was, I need to do it all
Okay.
by myself. But I couldn't, because simply I'm not an expert editing videos, and it would take me 20 times more
Yeah.
time than an expert would take.
Yeah.
And then I'm not a designer either. So when we think I'm going to do it all because I don't have money to invest on this, you waste time,
Yes. And your
and
time
you
is more valuable than
than
anything.
anything else. Plus, I wasn't doing what I am good at.
Tell the truth.
Well, that's real talk to me. Because when I saw it, I'm like, I need to do it all because I don't have money. But it took me 20 times the time that anybody else would. And if I calculate that based on the amount of money that I should be making an hour, that is way more than it was actually
You're in debt.
cost. Yeah, I'm
You're in
I'm in
debt.
debt to myself. So not delegating was too expensive for me. Saving
Mm.
money was too expensive for me. That's what it was.
Wow. I like
Hmm.
saving money was too expensive. Did you hear that? Saving money was too expensive. And that is a business owner right there. That is someone who's strategic and thinking outside of the box, of even knowing that saving money was too expensive. Wow, that's good.
I was talking to Matt the other day in the car, and I said that, and I'm like, did I hear what I said?
Mm,
And that was real talk.
that's real talk.
So whenever anybody that is listening to this starts thinking, I need to learn how to do it all because I don't have money to invest on everything that I need, let me just give you two advices. Number one, do what you can, even if it's minimal, because you are not going to be able to get everything perfect and everything as the hospital that you used to work did it, because
Hmm.
you cannot compare yourself with a huge organization like that.
You
It
can.
is unfair to you, and it's impossible, period. So why
Hmm.
to aim for that? Because the only thing that is going to cause is frustration to you. So delete that. Do what you can, even if it's minimum, even if it's tiny, even if it's a lemonade stand in front of your Porsche, right, at 50 cents a cup.
Hmm.
Even if that is what it is, that's how you start.
Yeah.
But keep at it.
Yeah.
And then whatever money you make, invest it, and keep going at it. That's one thing. And the second thing is, do not think that because you are not an expert on X or Y area means that you're a failure.
Mm,
Because you're very good at what you do. You're just not good at everything.
I like. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Drop them nuggets. I love it. I love it. I love it. So where can we find you? Where are you? What's your social media? What's your podcast? What else? Your
Well,
events?
I I am the legal drug dealer anywhere that you look at. If you type the legal drug dealer, again, I'm a pharmacist, right? So I deal drugs legally. So that's who I am. I'm the legal drug dealer.
I
So
love
if
it.
you type in any search in Safari or Google or whatever you go, the legal drug dealer, you're going to find my social media and my website, that is thelegaldrugdealer.com. Figure it out. And then everything, all my handles in every single social media is the legal drug dealer.
Great.
So I am uh, working on this new event that is taking control of my own health. That is actually a website where you can pre-register now, and I'm hoping that by the end of September I can get this done. Carla Michelle, I don't know
Yes,
exactly yet, but I'm
that's
working
fine.
towards it.
Well, we'll stay in tune, and we'll make
Yes,
sure we listen to your podcast. And I know that
yes,
you'll announce some things there. And
yes.
then, I'm always here to, to broadcast on my channels. And you
Thank
have
you.
all the support you need, because it's a good thing. And people need to know they have choices when it comes to
Yes,
their health,
yes.
and, all that's out there, and they need to be heard. And they know that they have the rights to get the best possible
Mhm.
attention and
Yes.
care that's necessary for them to have a full and complete life here on this earth. So thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for sharing your story And thank you for dropping your wisdom.
No, thank you for the
I
opportunity. And I love you and I owe you, and I would not be who I am today if it wasn't because you're in my life. So thank you, universe,
uh,
for aligning this lady in my path. And thank you for being open and opening your door for me to come in.
no, my pleasure, my pleasure. But I know it wouldn't have happened if you did not take the time to invest in yourself and showing up. And then that's when it really, really happened because you
Yes,
were ready. So I thank you for all you're doing once again. And so,
thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen, you've heard her. Go follow her,
The legal
contact her,
drug dealer.
the little the legal drug dealer. Go ahead and connect with her. She's a great woman and has great insight and resources. So, especially if you have questions about what's going on, and she'll connect you with those who do if she doesn't.
Hmm.
So, once again, okay, thank you, Madi. And we are signing off, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you look into the episode notes and find out where you can reach Madi. And I appreciate all of your time. Thanks again, Madi, and I will talk to you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Bye bye.
Bye bye.